You could say that one of the things that Final Fantasy's lost over the years is charm. There's a lot of angst bubbling around nowadays, and some swooning as well. But Final Fantasy IX cranks the charm up to epic proportions. It's the sweetest of the series since its shift to polygons, and this iOS port is no different. You'll laugh again, you'll cry again, and you'll wonder whether a Final Fantasy game will ever be this adorable again. That's not to say there aren't problems. While the sprites have been polished up with brand new polygons, the backgrounds are still kinda low res, and it makes the whole thing look at times a little bit dingy. But it doesn't spoil the experience too much, and the game underneath still stands as the crowning achievement of Square's PS1 era Final Fantasy titles. Some changes are for the better though. Rather than trying to squash a joypad on the screen like it did with Final Fantasy VII, here, Square's actually bothered to port the game to touchscreen. You're controlling your characters with a floating stick, and context-sensitive buttons flash up when you can interact with people or objects. While chatting, you can swipe outside the text box to choose your response, then tap a button to select. It all works well, and it's a damn sight better than the confusing mess of buttons you're confronted with when you first load up Final Fantasy VII. The battles in particular are handled well. Because they're in full 3D rather than having pre-rendered backdrops like the rest of the game, they look amazing. You tap to attack or cast spells, there are different options for controlling your party, and it all flows brilliantly. The same can't be said for the exploration part of the game. The murky backgrounds sometimes mean you'll stumble across doors rather than walking through them. But we understand the sacrifice. Final Fantasy IX is already a massive download at 4GB installed, and with upgraded backgrounds it'd be even bigger. But with so much to like here, it's just not that big a deal. This game is one of the highlights of the Final Fantasy series. It gets everything right. The cast of characters is fresh and interesting, the action is spectacular, and the plot intrigues in all the right ways. Small visual niggles aside, this is a solid port of one of the best RPGs ever. Yes, at £14 or $20 it's expensive, but you get an awful lot of bang for your buck. If you love RPGs, this is a game you need to play, and a mobile port allows everyone to do just that.